Hey guys, what's up? It's Melody, and today we're going to start decluttering and organizing the systems in our house so that everything is streamlined before the beginning of the year. This is the perfect time to just knock a few things out. If we design our house and declutter it and design it to be efficient, then all of the things that we're looking for will be so much easier to achieve. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that the systems in your house are working. You don't want to just declutter objects. We're trying to streamline our life and our peace of mind, and so therefore you don't just want to look at the physical. You want to look at the systems behind the objects and make sure the systems are working really well. I'll show you a couple of examples. The first thing you want to do is grab your notepad and make sure that everything is prepared so that you can make note of things that you either need to replace, any other to-dos or things like that. So you make sure you have your notes ready. I'm going to do a whole video on just decluttering paper, but for the purposes of this video I want to show you that one of the categories that I'm really going to be focusing on is credit cards. I have 4 of them that I barely ever use, so credit cards is a perfect thing to declutter at the end of the year. But you may want to get rid of credit cards if you have impulsivity and you spend too much, or you have a hard time remembering to pay the bill on time. Definitely get ahead of that. Get rid of those credit cards right now if those are your issues. Or if you just want an efficient lifestyle like me, just keep 1-2% credit card cash back. You're good to go. So I got to put those cords into that box because I traveled and I never put those. I'm going to write that here because I'm not going to let that slow me down. The one thing you want to do is make sure that nothing slows you down. So you want to keep focused on the task at hand. Whether it's doing laundry or it's organizing and cleaning, you want to be focused on the task. So my task right now is not to empty the trash can, it's not to clean up. My task right now is to declutter and then examine the systems. So decluttering, that looks messy, so I'm going to put those cords back in the box, but I'm not going to do it now. The next thing that I want to look at here, pretty much there's only one clutter in this whole entire room, and that's in the nightstand. I don't like those pillowcases. I recently got those pillowcases, but they wrinkle very easily. They're not properly fitted. So I'm gonna go ahead and put pillowcases, and I'll deal with that later because that's something I either need to buy or make. But either way, it's not something to deal with right now, but it's definitely an improvement. There's very few things in this room, so if that is nice and neat, this room looks a lot better. What you want to do is when you're looking at things like vitamin D or whatever you have, especially when you're dealing with medicine, especially when you're dealing with pills, when you're dealing with essential oils, you have to be objective. Granted, some things improve your mood and some things have a placebo effect, but I'm not interested in a placebo effect. I really am not. So either get your blood work done and make sure that you're taking what you need to be taking because you actually have a deficiency, or write down in your notebook and start tracking what affects what. You have to track only one thing. So when you are looking at skincare and when you are looking at food and when you are looking at things like vitamin D, things like this, you want to track it for a period of 2 weeks without changing anything. Because if you change something in your diet or something in your skincare alongside of whatever you're trying to track, then you're not going to know what it's doing. So you want to keep things consistent. Everything else should be as controlled as possible so that you can really examine if things are having an effect on you. I don't get sick a lot, therefore I only keep about 3 or 4 medicines. So be realistic with what you need. If you have a family, you're going to need more. Start tracking for a period of 2 weeks the foods that you actually think are making a difference. And I had to track it. I had to track it for a period of 2 weeks. You can use intuition too. So you don't have to be that methodical with things. You can just use your intuition to tell what is causing what. But pay attention to what affects your mood. And this goes beyond just caffeine and pills or things like that. But this goes to things that you consume, like social media. You want to be very cognizant because you're trying to design a life that's efficient and full and rich and alongside your values. So this is peppermint oil, which I use for a multitude of reasons. And peppermint oil is probably the most versatile of all of the essential oils. I don't use a lot of essential oils because it's not good for a pat. I use this for in-between massages because I usually don't have the time. Then I have my Bluetooth for when I'm talking on the phone to specific people. Mike and my dad, the conversations are a lot longer than most people, so I usually put this in. my point is this nightstand is as bare bones as you can pretty much get for me. And so I'm going to redesign my nightstand. So this is the system that I'm talking about. And I'm not going to put it on my notepad because it's something I'm already working on. It's not something I need to get to. But I'm redesigning my nightstand. It will be a floating nightstand. So that's coming in just a couple of weeks. You guys will see it, but it will be basically floating and bare minimal. Make sure you declutter first and get the systems down so you can get something that fits your needs. There are other smaller nightstands that you can purchase and floating nightstands that you can purchase. I'll put that in the down bar. I have 2 notepads and I don't like that I do. So this notepad needs to get decluttered because I'm done with that. This notebook I always work on for my dictionary and other things like that. So I'm taking this notepad and I'm putting it here because this is another thing that needs to get scanned. We're going to do papers on another day because that's going to take way too long. Everything that you write down, everything, if you're journaling, you're going to have to find a way to put it into the system or to save it, or else you're going to have 50 journals at the end of your life, for instance. I like writing things down. Do things whatever way it works for you, but make sure you're cognizant of what you're doing, that you're going to have to process it. So if you're writing lots of journals, then you're probably going to want to save some of your thoughts to be able to track things. So when I look for a journal, I look for something that fits my needs. So there are journals like this, which is, most people will want a journal like this. They will want something that is detailed, that gives them kind of a structure of what to write. I appreciate my goals today is this and that. And that's good because this has your mood, and mood is very important so you know what's affecting what. But I like to have it a lot more open-ended because I like to make it up as I go along. So if you're one of those people, then get a blank journal like this, and then I can keep track of my mood for the day, regular, high, low. I can keep track of any dreams I might have had, things that I want to be specifically looking at. Maybe I'm trying an experiment for 2 weeks to see if something affects something, and then something I'm working on. So maybe I'm talking about colors, and I'm reading about the physics of color. So then that's a subject I'll put, but I keep it very succinct because remember, I'm going to probably want to scan these in one day. This connects and closes the notepad, but it's superfluous to me. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to chop this off. And the reason why this is important is because there are things in your kitchen that come in a set. There are things that come together. Don't accept things that don't serve you in the sense of objects. Look how much better it looks without that thing poking out. It's so much more functional. I love it. The nightstand, it's particular to me that I want it to be a certain way. Now you might have the means to buy it, but whatever you can't change, you have to accept. So that's the key, is accept what you can't change. And when it comes to people, people are totally different. But when it comes to things like that, you change what you can and you map out what will make a difference to you. So these pillowcases, getting them changed will make a big difference to me. This journal does not serve me because I know myself, and I like for things to be efficient and succinct, so I want it to be compact. So this journal is perfect for me, and it feels like a teddy bear. Let me go put this by the returns. So we're going to put it back to our station, because remember, we're putting everything into our station. I don't have that many places in my house with things in it, so there's very little to go through, but this is important that you go through it every year at the end of the year to make sure all of your systems are clean and organized. So this is very not organized. This needs to get thrown out. This needs to get thrown out. Some of this chocolate is old, so this chocolate is old, plus I don't eat that much chocolate anymore. But basically you want to make sure that your systems, so I've got my passport and my travel, this needs to get relocated, and this needs to get activated. This, most of it has been decluttered, but I've decided that I'm not going to clean my makeup brushes with a special soap anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. So take out anything that is relevant you don't need. These papers I need to sort through. I'm going to put them on top of these papers, and I'm going to go through and scan in whatever I don't need, so I don't have to second guess myself. That will be for another day on the paper video. Here I have some clothes that I no longer need, some earrings and stuff like that that I just don't use anymore. So I'm going to sell them on Facebook probably, and just sell it all together so I don't have to sell it one by one. If you guys want to wear any of the clothes in some of my videos, I have some nice ones in here. Some nice dressy clothes and stuff like that that look really nice. They just don't fit me anymore because I lost weight. So some of the stuff I'm either going to have to tailor or pass on. So those I will sell. And Pat doesn't use this toy anymore. So this is going to be donated. So sell, donate, so return, trash. So make 4 piles and just go from there. So one of the reasons why Pat is no longer playing with that toy is she's been in love with these sushi toys. Oh my goodness, she goes crazy when she sees these sushi toys. She just starts swatting it all over the house and going absolutely ballistic. So she is no longer needing those other toys. She has 3 sushi toys. Always wait until the end of the year to go to Goodwill. I don't need to go through my kitchen because my kitchen is very streamlined. But if you want, definitely the last place to go through is your kitchen. Make sure that you have only what you need. You're not saving anything just in case. Make sure your pantry reflects your current values and your current lifestyle. And alongside with that, you also want to make sure that your fridge does, which I've already gone through. So I'm not going to go through in this video. The last thing is your closet and the bathroom area. I already went through the closet and took out things that don't reflect my sense of style, but this polka dot dress I'm also going to go through your clothes, anything that you don't wear that doesn't flatter you, that would better serve someone else, definitely pass it along. This one I got in Europe, but I just don't wear it that much, so this will make a great dress for somebody else. The last thing that we've got left is to just take action. I'm working on a baby quilt for Pat right now, but I'm sewing a quilt, and when I replace some of these blankets, then obviously I'll declutter some of them. You want to make sure your life flows with you. Make sure that your life flows with you, obviously, and it's moving along throughout the year and not just at the end of the year. But the end of the year is a perfect time to just take stock and get one last push towards the streamlined life that you're actually looking for. When it comes to the bathroom, the important part is that everything that you're using currently is serving you. So the system, everything in the most used drawer is most used. So for instance, I don't use this that often. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it with the rest of the hair stuff that I use whenever I want to. I don't use it a lot. So I'm gonna put that in there. But make sure that this, if it's the most used station, that it really only has the things you use all of the time. When it comes to this area, I'm going to get rid of eye makeup remover because I'm not going to be using that anymore. So anything that I want to use up, I'm going to keep up here so that I keep an eye on it. So that's going up there. And remember, I'm not going to use soap anymore, a different soap for cleaning my makeup brushes. And this I no longer need. When it comes to hair things and when it comes to makeup, I'm still experimenting with certain hair things, certain makeup things, and certain high heels. So if you are experimenting with things, you can have a separate place in your notebook of just things you're keeping an eye on, because you're not sure still if it's going to keep a place in your house. But you want to make sure in the next year that you get adequate use of those things you're keeping an eye on. Certain things I'm not sure, so I'm going to keep it for another year longer. I've started using hair stuff, so I have to experiment with those things longer. So we have all the things that I am trying to get through. So we're going to use these for a hair mask. We're going to use the remaining eye makeup remover because I just use my facial cleanser now as an eye makeup remover because it's very delicate on my eyes. So we're going to use that up. And we're going to use up some of these lotions and this lotion here. I hope this video helped you out on ideas to get your house cleaned and to get it well organized so that it's something that you have a lot of clarity when you walk through the door. You know exactly what you want to be doing through life, whether it's reading or studying or traveling or maybe just picking up new hobbies like I am. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.